Hello! Are we live? Are we here? It looks like we are. Hello, good to see you. It is Monday evening at 7 PM. Time for another live stream. My last one was last Monday. Last Monday was my last live stream, and that was my last video as well. I was thinking about it though, and it doesn't feel like it's been that long since my last video, even though it's been even longer than a week since I last had to edit or film something. It doesn't feel like it's been that long. I think it's just because it's been a busy week. It's been a busy week, a busy 7 days. So, yeah, but I'm back now. I'll be back with another video later on this week, probably on Friday, maybe on Sunday. So we're back almost on a normal schedule. Got a Twitch stream tomorrow, my first Twitch stream since midweek last week. I can't remember, I think it was Wednesday. But yeah, so I'm going to be back on schedule soon and I'm looking forward to it. But it's been a fun week, even though I haven't been here. Hi Phil, good to see you as well. You got the alert this time, that's good, thanks YouTube. Thank you YouTube. Do let me know if everything is okay with the sound and, you know, the picture quality and stuff. Because I kind of didn't have the best time management in the last half hour or so, and I haven't done my normal test to be sure that everything is okay beforehand, so I'm hoping that everything is okay. But we're just doing like a one camera stream, so it's not too complicated a setup. So I am hopeful that, you know, there's not that much that I can have done wrong. So sound and picture looks good. Okay, that's good. That's the main thing. Oh, I've got my microphone in an odd direction, so I'll just move that, and I'm sure I just made an annoying noise, but never mind. Just a reminder as well, if you're on the chat, to go to live chat instead of top chat, to make sure that you can see every message when it comes through. It's a shame that YouTube has top chat as like the default, because it's kind of, unless you remember to change it across, because I have to change it my end as well, which is kind of annoying. One camera stream, we are going old school. I know, exactly. I'd been sort of, last week, I'd been kind of thinking of doing another craft stream, and that was like my original intention, do another craft stream, but I just haven't got anything to craft. So it seemed, you know, I didn't have time to create something to craft, if that makes sense. So I was just like, let's just have a chat. Let's just have a little chat. You know, we can, for what? Half an hour if nobody gets bored, or, you know, longer, we can see how it goes. We'll see how it goes. We'll just do one of my old type of live streams where I, you know, rabbit on for a bit and wave my hands around, and yeah. No double cameras, no fancy craft projects going on, unfortunately. They expect us to only watch live streams with thousands of people watching, I think. That's why. Yeah, that's true. It doesn't work so well for the smaller streams with only a few people chatting. Hi, the Green Machine. Hello, how are you? How has your week been? It doesn't feel like it's been that long since my last video. It's like, normally I go for like 3 days without editing or filming or uploading something, and it feels like it's been an age. But I haven't uploaded anything for more than a week, because my last video here was a live stream, and it doesn't feel like it's been that long. It's weird. It's just been a busy week. You said you would report back on the con. Yes, this is the plan for the live stream. I'm just going to chat about the convention and what I did and how much fun it was. Your week's been very short so far. Has it been maybe, yes, less than 24 hours, I guess it's been. My week has also been quite short so far. But I hope that the amount of hours you have had in it were good hours. Mine's mainly been involving sleeping and watching Critical Role. So mine's been good. Mine's been really good. I've been enjoying it a lot. Yeah, I was up at like 5:45. Well, I have been up at 5:45 every day since Tuesday, because that's when I get up for work, and then at 9 Worlds, that started at like 9, so I still had to get up at the same time that I would normally not get up at the weekend. You know, normally I'd sleep in a bit later at the weekend, but I don't know, this isn't a complaint, it's just, it was nice to not have an alarm this morning, because normally, there would have been, you know, a couple of days. I wouldn't normally go so many days in a row without at least one sleep in to like 7 or something. I have had a long day. It's at least 2 normal days. Oh no, that's not great. Oh no, I hope that tomorrow is less long. Yeah, mine's been pretty short. I was like up at 10. It was really bad. It was really bad. I decided that today was my day off. Whereas normally it would be like Friday afternoon. I decided it will be today. It will be today. But now I'm back to doing things. Look at me being all productive and, you know, having a video, having a live stream. But yeah, it was really fun, Nine Worlds. I had a lot of fun, and I played my first RPG. I played my first role-playing game. You must have needed the rest. I did, I know. I mean, I originally, just because my body had got into the habit, I woke up very early. But then I just sort of forced myself not to, you know, immediately get up and start doing things. But hopefully I won't be paying for this tomorrow, and I'll, you know, be able to get back into my normal schedule, because back to work tomorrow. But yeah, I've played my first RPG, and it was really, really fun, and I was very proud of myself for having done it, because I've never, you know, done any sort of improvisation or like generally gaming with a bunch of people that I didn't know. You did a beginner role-playing game. It wasn't a beginner role-playing game. I mean, it was a role-playing game that was quite good for beginners. It was called Blades in the Dark, and it was so at Nine Worlds they have like an entire gaming corner where you can sign up for different RPGs over the weekend. And yeah, Blades in the Dark was recommended as okay for beginners, you know, like it wouldn't be too bad. But I think everybody else at the table had played RPGs before, although I don't think that anybody else at the table had played this particular one, you know, Blades in the Dark. Never heard of it. It was really, really good. I would recommend it. I think it was kickstarted. But yeah, it was really, really fun. And yeah, you did have to create a character. So I really loved my character. I would use her for something else. She was called, let me get this right. She was called Hicks Colburn, because I'm sure you want nothing more than to hear somebody talk about their experience in a role-playing game. Yeah, she was called Hicks Colburn, and her nickname was Mist, and she was a lurk, which is like a rogue. She was like an expert at infiltration and burglary. But yeah, I specifically made her a character that, you know, wouldn't need to talk much and stuff. You know, like she could be like back in the background and like helping out from range and that sort of thing. So I specifically went for that class, as in lurk. And it was a really good decision because it made things a lot easier for me as like a newbie, especially at a table with people that, you know, had more experience of role-playing games. Always on the hunt for loot. Yeah. It wasn't a loot-based game, this, which is, you know, obviously for me a major disappointment. But it was really, really fun. She does sound like you. I know. She was very monosyllabic, and she was very still, you know, and just like quiet. My characters tend not to talk much. Yeah, it's a good shout. If you're like not very confident in you know, your abilities or just in role playing in general. Hi, Salmon. I am very well, thank you. It has been a fantastic weekend. I've had a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to a new week. I'm going to the Globe, Shakespeare's Globe, this week for the first time in a couple of years, and I'm very excited. I'm not seeing anything Shakespeare related, which, you know, so I'm going to Shakespeare's Globe not to see something by Shakespeare, but I'm looking forward to being back there. I'm looking forward to getting back to work tomorrow. Should be a good week, and you know, it's just been fun. How are you? How have you been? It is good to see you again. But yeah, I really enjoyed playing the game. It was, you know, the only role-playing game I have any knowledge of is Dungeons and Dragons, which, although I've not played, I have seen played, and I know like the rules and stuff, and I've read the Player's Handbook and the Dungeon Master's Guide. So, it does sound like a good week. Yes, I agree. I am looking forward to this week. I am in a good mood as well from my wonderful weekend. And I'm also in a good mood because I'm not as tired as I thought I might be. I'm not bad at RPGs, I just don't talk much, and there's always someone in the game who loves the sound of their own voice. Yeah. I think I really lucked out, though, with the people I was playing with, because it seemed like quite a good team overall, and the way that Blades in the Dark works is everybody picks a different class, and the classes, well, I guess this is the same in any role-playing game, but it worked out really well in this one. Everybody has different skills, so everybody gets a chance to do something very, important and useful and heroic. So everybody got a chance to, like, shine and do something good, which was really great. And just, like, the mechanics of the game lent itself very well to different characters being able to take the lead. You didn't know many of the other players. My friend very kindly signed up for the same game as me. She plays Dungeons and Dragons, and she's the one that got me into Critical Role. But she'd done a previous RPG earlier on at the weekend, and then she signed up for this one when I signed up for it. So yeah, that was really nice. So I knew her. I didn't know anybody else. The GM was really good. Yeah, and it was great. Is it a group of players you can meet up with regularly? No, it was just like a one-off for the convention. Yeah, it was just a one-off for the convention. So, yeah, but it was kind of done as like a... well, Blades in the Dark, it doesn't really lead itself to one-shots, but they kind of played it as one. They kind of made it as just like a 3.5 hour long session. Haven't played D&D since 2nd edition. Ah, okay. Yeah, I only know 5th edition, which I believe is very good. I like it anyway, although I haven't played it yet. Hi! I'm not, I'm just gonna call you Master. Or maybe not. I'll just say hi. How are you? I heard 4th is kind of dumb. Yeah, I've heard that as well. Yeah, I have heard that as well. That, but I think that 5th edition has really changed a lot of the stuff which was wrong with it. There's a 5th now, yes. 5th is the current edition of Dungeons and Dragons. It's the only reason I know it is because it's the one on Critical Role. So they used to play Pathfinder, but when they started streaming, they went to 5th edition. So that's the one that I've read the player's handbook for. Call me Master, that'll be alright. Yeah, maybe not. I'll just say hi and we'll all know who I'm talking to. But yeah, it was really good, and yeah, I'd recommend Blades in the Dark if you are looking for something to play. I really like the mechanics of it, because it kind of... well, I'm not sure if this is interesting, if I rabbit on for a while about... how Blades in the Dark works, but if you want to know about... call him Mr. Okay, Mr. That's cool. But yeah, it was... let me know if you want me to talk a bit about Blades in the Dark, because I can, but I don't want to bore you if you're not interested. How long was the game you played? It was about 3 hours and 20 minutes in total. It could have been slightly longer, but the room was needed for something else afterwards, so we kind of stopped quite quickly. But it worked well, because we just did like one heist. Oh... I can't stop laughing. I was wondering how I was going to say his name. Well, Phil has come up with an interesting alternative, so we'll go with that. I'm interested in the game if you want to talk about it. Okay, so... hi, Carolyn! How are you today? How has your week been? I hope it has been good. We have a nice gang here today. That's cool. That's cool. I'm just about to start boring everybody by talking for a little bit about a role-playing game called Blades in the Dark, so you're in perfect time if you want random knowledge about a role-playing game. How hot is the UK now? Hi, Time and Chance. Good to see you as well. The UK is a lot cooler now. The weekend was pretty dull and rainy, and it's kind of sort of fed into this week. So yeah, it's been pretty nice, I guess. Like late teens, early 20s has been the temperature for quite a few days. It's been a little cool sometimes, You know, because I do like to moan about the weather, I would like to just announce to everybody that it is a little cool sometimes now. But yeah, the weather's a lot more reasonable for this time of year. Seems a lot more, I don't know, standard British summertime, and a little bit of rain as well. Yeah, everybody is here. We've got a whole gang together. We've had a good week. Hope you have too, and everyone, of course. Good. I am glad you have had a good week. I have had a fantastic week. I have been at a convention called Nine Worlds all weekend, which has put me in a very good mood, and I've had a nice, relaxing day today to like recover from the convention. Because even though it was mainly just sitting down watching panels, it's amazing how much just being around lots of people for a very long time, all day, for a few days, can exhaust you. I mean, I assume it's not just because I'm an introvert. I assume it's just like a general convention thing that you just end up exhausted at the end, whatever you're doing. Weather must have been good for the convention. It was. The first day, they were very enthusiastic with the air conditioning, and it was a little cold, but they seem to have sorted that out the second and third day. But yeah, it was a little bit... yeah, it was fine, actually. It was fine. The weather for the convention, it was quite... mild, I guess would be the word. I empathize. Cool. But yeah, it was good. It was good. It was really good. But yeah, the like the mechanics of Blades in the Dark is when you've got like a quest or a challenge or something you need to do, you kind of pick the sort of way you want to do it, and you have like a vague plan, and then you keep going until something goes wrong, as in the dice rolls go badly and something goes wrong, and the GM gives you like something that goes wrong, and then you kind of flash back to your characters having planned something beforehand to prevent that thing from happening. Don't know if that makes sense. So you kind of say, well, this is what I could have done, my character could have done to prevent this, and then you would go back in time and your character would do that, and then you'd go back to the present and then continue on until the next point at which something goes wrong, and then somebody else would be like, well, this is what would prevent that, and then so you kind of end up with your characters canonically having come up with a very good and well thought out plan in which everybody gets something to do. But you don't have to like have it all sorted out before you go into the plot line. So it kind of works very well in terms of like it keeps the game chugging along. You know, you don't have like this weird part at the beginning of anything, any plot strand where everybody is like, what do we do? Like, what do we do if this happens? You can just kind of start and then work things out as you go. Everyone has time control powers. It's more just like how in a TV show you would have flashbacks to things that had happened before. So your characters don't know that this is happening, but you are working out as it's going on, and then canonically you just end up with a plot line which is can be pretty complicated from the character's end, but from your end it's pretty easy to follow because you're doing this sort of time turning thing. Did you find it easy to pick up the rules, or did you watch a game first? No, we just went right in. The first hour sounds fun. It was really fun. I would recommend it. Blades in the Dark. It's I looked it up online beforehand, so it's around. So yeah, did you pick it up? Did you find it easy to pick it up, or did you watch a game first? No, yeah, we just went straight in. The first hour or so was just character creation. We decided like our names and our classes and stuff, and then what stats we would be good at, what things we would be good at, which, you know, affects the dice you can roll and stuff, and how big a chance you have of succeeding in certain things. And then we had to like come up with a group name and sort of where our group was based and what we had. We had a ship, and then we got to like pick what was on the ship and stuff, and everybody got to pick something which was on the ship. And you also decide what factions within the city that you are friendly with and which you are rivals with, so you end up with this like quite elaborate backstory quite quickly in terms of both character and crew. So that was like the first hour, and then we had a little break, and then we just went straight into it. And you know, it's kind of relatively easy in terms of dice rolls because it's just d6s. It's just like the normal cube kind of dice, so it's not like as complicated in like I was about to say Dragon Age, not like not a completely complicated system as Dungeons and Dragons would have. How powerful is your character? We started at level 0, so we were not very powerful. But of course it was only like a few hours session, and of course the GM is making sure that we can do stuff, so it was fine. And basically the better you are at certain skills, so you get okay, so I'm bad at describing things to start with, so this game I'm about to try and describe the minorly complicated thing. So you use d6s to determine how successful a task is. So if you get a 6, then it succeeds. If you get a 4 or 5, it succeeds, but something goes wrong, which is when you're kind of likely to have to do the flashback thing. And if you get 1 to 3, then it kind of is bad, and you know everything is terrible, and you need to really have a flashback thing happening. But depending on how good you are at certain things, you get more d6s. So, for instance, I was good at like prowling. So if there was something that required prowling, I got 2 d6s. So you have a higher chance, and because you only need 1 of the rolls, you take the highest. So the more d6s you can have, the more chance you have of getting a good roll, right? Because, you know, you roll 1d6, you have a 1 in 6 chance of getting a good roll, but then you add more d6s in, then you've got a higher chance of getting like a 6 or a 5 or a 4 as your highest. Excuse my lack of knowledge, but what is this Blade in the Dark? Oh yeah, it's a role-playing game, a live action role-playing game that I played at the weekend at the convention I was at. Yeah, tabletop role-play game. So yeah, it was my first experience of a role-playing game, so that's why I'm just rabbiting on about it, because I'm very excited and proud of myself for having done it. But yeah, so you can also get assistance by other characters, in which case you would get another d6 that you could roll, and then you can also like have like a devil's bargain or something where you also get another d6, but like that something will go wrong. But again, it gives you a higher chance of getting like a 6 or something, and if you get 2 6s in one roll, then that's a critical, and then everything is excellent. And I got 2 criticals. I got 2 critical rolls in the game, and I think I was the only player to get critical rolls, so I felt very happy, and like the dice were welcoming me to role-playing. So that felt really cool. I would be nervous, I would worry I would lose track of things. Yeah, I'm not going to lie, I have trouble remembering things, so I feel like that would be, no matter how good I ever got at roleplay games, I feel like that would be the problem I would have, just keeping track of what's going on. And I did lose track of some things. For instance, we were, like our entire plot of the game was that we were trying to smuggle some people across like the city to a train, without like the police noticing them, and we were doing that by disguising them as police themselves, because I had a police friend, so I got the disguises for them. But I immediately forgot why we were doing it, so I spent the entire game with no recollection of who the people we were smuggling across the city were. Which didn't really matter, but yeah, it's I losing track of things isn't really a problem as long as a few of the players remember what they're doing, and as long as you kind of keep track of what your character would be doing, and I guess the GM would help as well, and remind you of what's going on. So I wouldn't worry about that too much. Because there was literally a moment where I was doing something that I had already done, and specifically doing that, and I couldn't remember what it was, so they had to tell me. So, yay! that's my problem just generally in life. So that was my problem with role playing as well, just my lack of a memory. I still don't know, by the way, why we were smuggling these people across. I completely forgot seconds after it happened. Is the London area big on role-playing game? Is it popular? I believe so. From my friend, she's in a few games, and also online as well. It's a lot easier to find games online, so it would be possible to, especially Dungeons and Dragons. Like, I feel like that's the most likely to be able to find a group for Dungeons and Dragons. But it seems to be pretty big. There were certainly a lot of people there playing them. So at any point, is there a situation where something goes wrong and you're all like, oh no, we have no plan for this? Like, the mechanics of the game try to avoid that. I think there was like one time where we were lost for a moment, but then you kind of end up like just like a distraction. You have a character that goes and makes a distraction or something. We had a couple of those. So yeah, it could happen, I guess. Or it could go like terribly wrong and you could fail. That would be the problem. But more or less, the way the game is structured kind of lets the story chug along, because you can normally find a way through. Sounds interesting. I thought it was interesting because, I don't know the mechanics of a lot of games. Like, as I say, my only previous experience is Dungeons and Dragons, so it was interesting to me. I think you have to persuade everyone else you remembered correctly and they are all wrong. Yes. Or I could make it like a character thing, that my character just wasn't paying attention at all during the bit where we were, sorting out what our task was, and I'm going to be like, sure, I'll help with like no, just like, just like following along and then ending up helping. Plus the convention aspect. Convention goers always like role-playing games usually. Yeah, it's true. You've got like a demographic, and Nine Worlds is definitely the demographic for role-playing games. And there were a lot of Critical Role fans there as well, like everywhere. I've never seen so many Critical Role fans in a place before. That's a good idea. I could play a forgetful character. Yeah, exactly. Or just like an overly helpful character who's just like, sure, I'll help. I'll volunteer for this. Or absent-minded, or just like a poor listener or something. There's so many ways you can RP this. There's so many ways you can RP that sort of problem. Never remembers to turn up for the game. Yes, exactly. It will just be written in, and then the other characters will be like, "Where's so and so?" And it will just be like, "Oh, they're just off playing dice. They're off gambling. They've forgotten that we had a meeting today." Some RPGs have that as an option, take some disadvantage like forgetfulness so you can boost something else. Oh, that's cool. That's really good. I like that. I feel like I would be taking forgetfulness all the time, because then I just have an excuse for my terrible, atrocious memory. It's really weird. It's really bad that I don't know how, like, if I didn't write down everything that I have to do, I would, like, I think I give the impression of being a very organised person, but it's literally how I survive. If I wasn't like organised and relatively tidy, I would never be able to do or find anything. So I'm just like, by default, had to be very organised and, very tidy. How long was the game you played, and did you win? It was 3 hours 20 minutes in total. It didn't really finish at the end, but we did win. We completed the task. One of us ended up in prison. They were arrested because they were causing a distraction, and they were arrested by the police, so the police ended up going off with them and caused the distraction, and I ended up on the run. The Green Machine knows how to play these games stress-free. I know, it's a trick we should all remember for the future. But yeah, I ended up on the run because I was at the train station already, because I had to get the we were sending the people we were smuggling through in groups, because we only had 4 police uniforms, so I was at the other side getting the uniforms back to send them back through, and like the third time I had to somebody else had to like make a contraption to cause a disturbance on the train, like a smoke to make the train like explode or something. And I was the one that had to set that because I was already through there. So I ended up being seen like putting this device on the train, and then I had to run off because I was made. But I, tried to make sure that I took as many people with me as possible. But yeah, that was I wasn't back with the group at the end of the game, and neither was the person who got arrested. So yeah, we did win. Everybody got through. It was really great. The team as a whole got through. My character is on the run, and whether she ever gets back to the group, I don't know, because I feel like character-wise, she would definitely not. She would definitely just leave and like cut her losses, because she's like a burglar and an infiltrator, and having been seen, she would definitely want to go somewhere else, right? That's definitely what she would do. So at the end, I was kind of specifically thinking that, if I had an in to get back to the group, I probably wouldn't take it. That was my thought. Life on the run, oh dear, I know exactly. Or maybe she'd just like go to the other side of town or something and try and join a crew over there. She'd find a new group in a new area. Exactly, that's my thought. How long before you can be a dungeon master? I think it would be whenever you want, as long as you know the rules and stuff. You can set it up whenever. How long before I could be a dungeon master? I think I'd I'm not sure I could ever particularly be a dungeon master. But yeah, I sound like she would enjoy that. Yeah, I think she would like the being off, off on the run, join a new crew. I think that's very much part of her character. Thanks, Legend, I just watched it. But yeah, it was a really fun, because it was the last thing I did as well at Nine Worlds. So I don't make a good DM. I don't think fast enough players get bored. I think that might be the problem that I would have as well. I wouldn't think fast enough. I think I'd be good at world building, that sort of thing, like having a lot of options and having a well thought out map. And, having a relatively good handle on, players going off in different directions than expected and being able to have something ready for them. But I feel like, the actual improvising thing would be where I would fall down. So yeah, I'm not sure I would be a good DM either. Burglar Mouse is Bilbo Baggins. Exactly, I can build, but I can't run. Yes, exactly. I think that would be exactly my description. That's a good succinct way of going with that. I would struggle to run a game for sure. Yeah, it's definitely a skill. I mean, we lucked out so much with our GM. He was really, really great. Really, really great. So yeah, that was a very good first experience for me, I think. I'm not sure how good I do with a less good GM, especially for like a first game. Because he was definitely working to like my strengths, not being the actual role-playing bit, but the character being able to do stuff. Because I never I don't think my character ever canonically spoke in the game. I think she spoke once to say that she'd seen a ship with like scratches down it, and to say that she had a police friend who could provide some uniforms. I feel like that's literally the only time that I spoke in the game. I never had like somebody played by the GM like coming up to me and talking to me, and I had to talk to them. So I feel like he was a really good GM to work out the game so that everybody around the table could do it, I guess. Bilbo Baggins. Yes, I am Mouse as Bilbo Baggins, that's great. A burglar, yep. I was a burglar and an infiltrator. That was definitely my skills. Would you like to visit Bag End and the rest of Hobbiton in New Zealand? It's literally one of my dream places to go. I have a list of dream places to go. It's very short. New Zealand is on the top of it. I would. Carolyn agrees with me. We'll have to make a trip. I'd love to visit New Zealand and Japan. It sounds like the GM you had knows how to run the game for new players. I know exactly. He was really great GM. Really great. And because I think I was the only new player as well, so I assume that was probably obvious. I don't know if it was obvious because I didn't mention beforehand, but it definitely played to my strengths. Absolutely, yep. Group trip on the cards. I really want to visit New Zealand and Japan. Those are like my two big places where I really want to go. How much do you weigh? What? But yeah, it was a really great experience. I enjoyed it a lot, and I feel like it can really make or break a game, a good GM. So that would be maybe why I wouldn't do it. But I would be I'd very much enjoy the world. I don't weigh very often. Would you climb Mount Doom in New Zealand and destroy the ring? Absolutely. I wouldn't be corrupted by the ring. I wouldn't go all Gollum. That would definitely be what I would do. Or else I'd be like Legolas, and like be that character. The monosyllabic, helpful, ranged character. It's my favourite character in Lord of the Rings. Oh my gosh, my voice is going. Too much convention at the weekend, now a live stream. A talkie live stream, no crafting today, just talking. Oh dear. Now after me rabbiting on about role-playing games for ages, you get me just drinking water. Climbing sounds like hard work, exactly. But yes, I would destroy the ring, absolutely. I forgot to put my phone on silent before I started the stream, and now things keep happening. I do apologise. It's even worse as well because I decided that the correct place to put my phone is next to the microphone. So sorry about that. Can I just walk up the mountain gently? Yes, exactly. If it's like that mountain in Edinburgh where there's like the difficult route and the easy route, then yeah, we'll just go the easy way. We'll get to the same place, it'll be fine. Sing opera at Glyndebourne or Covent Garden. Is this a question? Are you asking if I would? Because I wouldn't. I would not sing opera. Be more of a helping member of the fellowship. I'd say I'd be Sam, but that is complimenting myself a bit much. He's so much cooler than me. No, you be Sam. You be Sam, Carolyn, if you want to. Sam's a great character. I want to be Legolas. If anybody else wants to Bagsy a character, Carolyn is Sam and I am Legolas. You've climbed that mountain. Oh, awesome. Sam's the real hero. Hill? The one in Scotland? Yeah, Arthur's Seat, right? Arthur's Seat? Japan, climb Mount Fuji and see dawn from the top. Fun. That does sound fun. That does sound fun. Again, the climbing might be the problem, but I'm all for it. I'm all for it. One day it will be on the bucket list, the old bucket list. Yep, in Edinburgh. Ah, okay, yeah, that's Arthur's Seat, I believe. I think the hill is called something as well. But yeah, I just went the easy route. I started off the difficult route because, you know, I haven't got the best sense of direction and I was lost. But then I went back and went the normal way, the simple way. But yeah, I like Edinburgh. Maybe I'll go back at some point. The Fringe is on right now, but can you get a balloon ride to the top? That sounds nice and very much in keeping with, you know, like the Lord of the Rings kind of thing. I don't know. I'm not sure I'd like a balloon ride though, to be honest. I think I'd find it very scary. But you know, those there's those eagles, aren't there, in like Lord of the Rings? Maybe we could corral some of them. You really don't want to be riding a balloon near a mountain. I guess that's true. Exercise training for mouse. Climb them mountains. Good views. This is the plan. The new plan for the channel. Disclaimer, this is definitely not the new plan for the channel. I feel like we may have just climbed half. I don't remember. And yes, I need to get back to Scotland ASAP. I studied there and I miss it so much. The Eagles. Okay. You studied there. That's awesome. Yeah, Scotland. I've only been to Edinburgh, but I really enjoyed it. I've been there at the Fringe Festival, and I've been there in like April when it was very windy. What about a less pointy mountain? Yes, like a very smooth mountain. Nothing that can hurt a balloon. And we'll balloon ride up that, although I am not partaking in the balloon. I am not going on a hot air balloon. I'm sorry. Legolas will stay behind. Or, you know, find the Eagles. Just a semester in Stirling, but I completely fell in love and want to live there. Awesome! That's so great. Maybe you will get there one day. I hope you do. More permanently. Yeah, I want to visit more of Scotland. I wouldn't put it on the list with New Zealand and Japan in terms of bucket list, but it's somewhere that I want to go. And I also think it's more likely that I'll get there because, you know, I don't have to, like, I could get a coach, you know, I could technically afford to go to Scotland. So I guess I'm quite lucky in that, you know, there's not a sea between me. I've noticed that I keep looking on this screen, which is completely not the screen that the camera is on, so I do apologise. I don't know why I've started doing it, because the chat is on this screen. When I'm gaming, the game is on this screen, so it's not like I've got into the habit somehow of looking over here, but for some reason today, this is where I'm looking. I do apologise. I feel like bucket list is more for places you've never been. Yeah, I think so. Or places that I guess are less likely for you to just accidentally end up in, just on a holiday or something. Because I feel like it's more likely that, you know, I just go on like a weekend trip to Scotland or something, or like tag along with some friends who are going. Whereas I'm unlikely to get to Japan or New Zealand unless I specifically make it a lifetime goal. So I think that's why those are my lifetime goals. It's okay, it looks like you are looking around at the group of us. Okay. Yeah, I'll be looking around. But yeah, we have so many more Fellowship characters to choose from. Does anybody want to be Gimli? Or Merry and Pippin? I'd go for Merry or Pippin if I wasn't Legolas. What is your favourite scene in the Lord of the Rings movies? I really love the battles. Specifically the massive one in Two Towers, I think. It's been a while since I've seen the film, so I can't, like, specifically name scenes. But I love all the battles. I also love Treebeard, so anything with Treebeard. Short enough to be Gimli. But you're Sam! You're... Oh no, the focus. That's the problem with this new camera. It does occasionally decides that it definitely wants to focus somewhere else except from where I am. Oh, that reminds me, I haven't shown you what I bought. I haven't showed you what I bought at Nine Worlds. Look. Look at this wonderful picture. Okay, so this probably needs a bit of context. So this is a mouse version of Grog, the character from Critical Role Campaign 1. So of course it is very relevant to my interests, and I was very excited to find it. And I'm very happy. And I'm going to frame this. It's going to be on my wall. I love it so much. It's the best thing ever. So that's what I bought. And I love it. I love it. You are multiple people. Okay. So Carolyn is Sam and Gimli, and I am Legolas. That picture is perfect, I know. I really want all of the characters now from Critical Role Campaigns 1 and 2. I wonder if I can, like, commission the artist, because I love it. I love it so much. And I've been lucked out as well, because Grog was the only character that they had, and I love Grog. So, like, as a character for there to be, I'm happy that Grog was the one that I had. Treebeard was based on Narnia author C.S. Lewis. I read that. What a I love Treebeard so much. It's so cool. I know. I was just I the second I saw it, I was like, this is mine now, and it was the last one. It's the last one. I'm so happy. So happy. And the artist is called Eleanor Hollandrake. So I'm gonna try and see what else they have in their store, because yeah, this was so great. They had a whole bunch of mouse things, mouse characters. What else did I get? I got a badge by the same artist, which is a little unicorn mouse. Oh, well, this is one reason why the focus on this camera could be useful. There we go, a little unicorn mouse. Look at my little unicorn mouse badge. Isn't it awesome? It's got a little rainbow tail. Yeah, literally the only things I bought were from that person's store. And food. I got some food. I think that's all I got. I think that's all I got. Did I get anything else? I don't remember getting anything else. I think that's it. I got the program. The free program. So I mainly went to panels and stuff. But it was really great. That's awesome. I know, it's so great. I love it so much. I would have bought everything on their stall if I had the money. Which scenery in England looks most like New Zealand scenery of Lord of the Rings movies? It's not in England, but a lot of Ireland and Northern Ireland looks like New Zealand. And what was that island that they filmed Last Jedi on, the place where Rey, the place with the porgs, the place that Rey finds Luke Skywalker on? That was a place. Can't remember where that was. I could probably Google it during the stream, but I want to reread The Hobbit and Fellowship so I can finally read Two Towers and Return of the King end of the year goal. That sounds like a good goal. Those are good books. I love them. If you go in a TV shop and watch The Lord of the Rings on one of the huge TVs and stand really close, you could almost be there. It's true. Get like several TVs and have them on like different scenes. It sounds great. Skellig. There we go. Thank you, Carolyn. Skellig. That would definitely count as like New Zealandish, wouldn't it? I think it's beautiful. But yeah, in England itself, I mean, there's a lot of green fields and stuff, but I think it would be noticeably flatter. Because New Zealand is notoriously not flat. I mean, there's plenty of not flat places in England, and certainly in Scotland, but probably get some nice coastal areas. That could be cool. But yeah, I think New Zealand has a very unique landscape, and it's one of the reasons why I want to go there and film there, because it's just so beautiful. Skellig Michael, I forget, I may have just made that up. I think Skellig rings a bell to me, so I think you might be right there. We can have a little Google after the stream, and then we'll know. Have you read the Silmarillion? Yes, I have. I have read the Silmarillion. I have read quite a few Tolkien things, but true to form, I can't remember what they are. But I've read the Christmas one. I've read the Father Christmas kids book one. I've read the Silmarillion. I don't remember much of it though, to be honest. I've read The Hobbit and the Lord of the Rings trilogy. It took me 2 goes to read the Lord of the Rings trilogy, actually. I didn't get on with it too well the first time. But yeah, I definitely went through a Tolkien stage a few years ago. I googled it, it's Skellig Michael. Thank you! Yay, we got there. Perfect, Skellig Michael. So that would be a good New Zealand stand-in, I think. I'd like to visit there at some point, but again, I'm not sure I'd put it on the bucket list. I think it's a bit close to me. What about Farmer Giles or Hammond Smith of Wootton Manor? Oh! I think I have Farmer Giles. I definitely don't have I've just noticed that that's Major, not Manor. I definitely don't have the second one. I've definitely read Farmer Giles of Ham. Have I? I definitely have it. I think I might have read it, but I definitely have it. Isn't some company making a TV series on the pre-Lord of the Rings era? What do you think of that? Would you watch it? Oh, I didn't know. I didn't know that they were. But quite like the idea, as long as it was not... I don't know, some of these things, they seem a bit like they're milking success. But if it was well done and not, like, overstaying its welcome, I'd be all for it. Now, I probably would watch it. They are very cute, especially the audiobooks read by Derek Jacobi. Oh, that sounds good. That sounds good. I don't read many audiobooks, to be honest. It's definitely not my preferred way of experiencing books. Would they get up to pre-Lord of the Rings? Yeah, how close would they get? What sort of timeline? Because there's a whole lot of really interesting stuff pre-Lord of the Rings, isn't there? Also, here is a question which is relevant because we're talking about books and Nine Worlds. At Nine Worlds there was a panel about the Animorphs, which was a book series that I read when I was in my early teens. My question is, has anybody else read Animorphs, and has it made as profound effect on your life as it has on mine and on all of the people on the panel that I was at about Animorphs? Because there was so much that I forgot, and as soon as people started talking about it, it all came flooding back, and I think it's really had a massive effect on the media that I enjoy and like, and sort of the content I make as well, the scripted content that I'm trying to make, all stems from Animorphs and stuff, and yeah, it's interesting, and I hadn't thought about it for quite a long time, so I'd be interested if anybody else here has read Animorphs. No, but now I want to read it. Some of it hasn't aged very well, but it is available if you do want to read it. I think it's also where I got my, how do I say this? I don't have trouble that much with spoilers when I get spoiled, and I think that's partly because I got Animorphs from libraries and I read them completely out of order. So I was always endlessly getting spoiled and not, experiencing the story in the correct way. So I think that's why I tend to not have so much trouble when things get spoiled, and I'm not so, I don't put much priority into not seeing spoilers when I don't watch shows immediately. I think I could have used better English, but never mind. I shamefully only saw some of the show but never read the book when I was younger, though they were quite popular here. Yeah, I saw the show as well. Definitely not as good as the books, if you could call the books, good. But I liked the show. It had Shawn Ashmore in it before he got all famous and X-Men-y. The Hobbit movies were definitely milking, I know. I mean, the book's so short and the films are so long. I've only seen them once because, I got kind of tired of The Hobbit. I think it would be better if it was one film. I think a lot of people would agree, at least I hope they would. Since we're talking about books now, I want to know, how long does it take you to finish a book? Something I always wanted to ask. Well, at the moment it takes me months and months and months because I'm just not in a reading mood. I've actually started rereading Animorphs, which is bad because I'm trying to read When the Curtain Falls by Carrie Hope Fletcher because I'm reviewing it next week, and I've been pushing back that review for a few weeks. Not sure if you've noticed, but I've been pushing back that review because it was supposed to be a few weeks ago. But I have been terribly slow at reading it and occasionally not reading it at all. So when I'm reading a book, I can normally get it read in a couple of weeks because I used to, when I was in my reading phase, review a book every 2 weeks, and that was fine and that was doable. But now I have trouble finishing a book a month or 2 months. Like, it's getting really bad, and I think I just going through a phase of not being in a mood, and I think that phase has been going on for a couple of years now. So I guess the answer to your question is, at the moment it takes so long for me to finish a book. But generally, average, a month. So that's quite long. It's a lot longer than it used to be. I used to easily finish books in a week or so, but I think it also makes a difference the sort of books you read as well, because of course when I was younger I used to read a lot easier books, so it would be a lot easier to read like a book a day or something, whereas now I tend to read a lot more, well, longer, obviously, more difficult textually, you know, like classics and stuff like that. But yeah, it's not very useful answer to your question, because I don't actually know the answer since I'm going through such a weird phase. Meant to say I only watched the show but never read the books, but they were quite popular here when I was younger. Okay. I thought that was what you meant, so no worries. Wasn't some of the material from Silmarillion? I thought that was cool, since it may never be a film on its own. What, from The Hobbit? Yeah, that's true, actually. I think that is true. I guess that would bulk it out a bit, wouldn't it? Amazon Studios is doing TV Lord of the Rings series. You could see it in 2021 and will continue for 5 years over a $1 billion budget. Wow. I mean, to be honest, I'll probably watch it. Like, it's been so short a time since the films. I mean, it's definitely milking it, isn't it? But could be really fun. And generally, you know, I'd be more of a fan of them making a TV show of Lord of the Rings than I would of them making a film of Lord of the Rings, because Lord of the Rings is so epic. It would really do well as a TV show. But you've also read stuff like War and Peace and Three Musketeers. Those would take me at least a month, yes. And they did take me at least a month. But yeah, it's interesting. Because I never used to really have a problem getting myself to read. The last time I remember before this like 2-year drought it happening was I was reading the Greek myths by Robert Graves, and I got very bored and I was not as enamoured by reading as I would normally be. That's the last time I remember it happening before this current drought. So I think sometimes it depends on the book, but at the moment I'm reading so many different books, so many different, you know, genres and styles, and, you know, books that are easy to read when I'm reading them, and I'm still having trouble. So I think it's just one of those things, and I assume that I'll get back to reading more regularly and more quickly and efficiently at some point, but I'm just trying not to put too much pressure on my brain to do it, because I think that could make matters worse. I'm reading both now, actually. Oh, War and Peace and Three Musketeers. Wow, that's quite the collection. Yeah, both at the same time. Caroline, that doesn't seem like a good idea. We're all like, ooh, but then I guess at the same time that's not a bad idea, because I used to read one smaller book and one larger book at a time, because the larger book was too large to carry around. So if you were doing something along those lines, I say both, but I started War and Peace several years ago, so I'm in the middle of it but haven't picked it up in months. Okay, so you're having like a interval book in Three Musketeers. Oh, Amazon is doing the pre-Lord of the Rings series. No readaptation of Lord of the Rings books is planned. Okay. So Amazon is the pre-Lord of the Rings series that Caroline was talking about earlier. Okay, cool. But that's still good information, so yay. Want to start over with it, actually. War and Peace is one of my favourite books. I love it. My favourite book is Les Miserables, but I really love War and Peace. So, yeah, I mean, I recommend it. I think it is worth either continuing with or starting again, depending on, you know, how you feel about it. But yeah, I understand it can be very dry. And there's an awful lot of characters. I would have to start a book again if I had left it for a while. Yeah. Normally, that would be the case as well. Sometimes you can work your way back in. You know, that's okay. It comes like flooding back when you start. Would you want to have the Silmarillion as a TV series? I mean, it can be very dry, the Silmarillion. I'm not sure if it was done well, you know, and well adapted to be very entertaining, but still keep like the the backbone of the text, then yes, but I mean, I prefer it to another adaptation of Lord of the Rings, I guess. Have you seen the 07 War and Peace adaptation? Amazing. Let me think. The only War and Peace adaptation I've seen is the more recent one that had... Oh, who was in it? Who was in it? James Norton was in it. Was Lily James in it? That doesn't seem right. Am I thinking of something else? But James Norton was definitely in it. But yeah, that would have been only a couple of years ago, so I think you're referring to something else. So no, I haven't seen that, but I'll have to check it out. There was a really fantastic radio adaptation a few years ago on the BBC, Radio 4, which starred Patterson Joseph, and I really recommend that. I listened to that before the book, and it really helped. If you can find it. I mean, it's often easier to find BBC radio stuff than it is to find BBC TV stuff, just because radio stuff is worldwide and repeated a lot more regularly. I'm working my way through the Ramses books by Christian... I'm not going to be able to pronounce that. It's just like my gaming streams, Jack Q, but it's taking forever. I've never even heard of those books, to be honest, Phil, so I will have to look them up. Oh! Clemence Posey is in that one. Oh, I'll have to look that out. I'll try to find it. I think it is on Audible. Ah, okay. Cool. That was really good. I enjoyed it. I can't remember who else was in it apart from Patterson Joseph, but I think Patterson Joseph should be enough to find it because he was the lead. You know, if you were Googling, I think Patterson Joseph would be enough to find it. Would you want to see the character Sauron recast as Sirona, maybe starring Natalie Dormer? I'm generally all for gender switches and gender swaps. I think it can be really interesting. And Natalie Dormer is awesome. Ramses like the Pharaoh, Phil? Good question. Oh, crumbs, we are after 8. I'm going to be signing off in a moment. But let me know if there's any brief things you want me to talk about before I go. We've got onto the topic of books, and now we're just flying. That would be so cool. Yeah, I think it would be cool. Ramses like the Pharaoh, yes. Okay, cool. That's awesome. I'm going to have to look these things up. The time has gone so fast. I know, it has gone really, really fast. I was worried because, you know, it's been so long since I've done a stream that's just chatting and not also doing something else that I was like, is this going to work? I was like, maybe I'll just go for like half an hour and see how it goes. And then it's like after 8 and I'm still rabbiting on about books and role-playing games and 9 worlds. But yeah, it was a really, really fun stream, so thank you so much for joining me. We had a lot of people in today. It was really, really fun. And thank you for, you know, the recommendations and all the chat about bucket list places to go. I am very excited to one day get to New Zealand. Yes, it's on the list. It's on the list. And yeah, good luck with your reading adventures. Because, you know, I love reading so much and I wish I could get back to it. But yes, we will do it. We will all succeed and get some good reading done. Excellent. Command of the English language, mouse. It's been nice to have so many people here. It has been nice. So yeah, thank you everybody for joining me. It's great. Glad I didn't miss this one like last one. Thanks, mouse. You're welcome, Carolyn. Yeah, thank you for joining me. I hope to have another live stream on YouTube in a few weeks. It won't be next week, but maybe I'm trying to be every 3 or 4 weeks. So let's see if that works out. I will let you know. I'll be on Twitch tomorrow at 7 p.m. So back to Twitch tomorrow at 7 p.m. So, and then my next YouTube video will be on either Friday or Sunday. So that's when you can next find me here. And we had Tatty Mister. Exactly, the excitement of that. Prefer these talky live streams. Oh, good. Okay, I will bear that in mind in future. Even during the crafty ones, I will bear in mind to be chatty. And may we have chatty sections of the live streams, even when they're crafty ones. But yeah, I'm glad you like the talky live stream, because yeah, it's been a while since I've done one, so I was you know, wondering how it would go. But it's been really, really fun. Anyway, bye everyone. Thank you so much for joining me. I have spent the entire stream looking either here or at the wrong camera, so I do apologise. I am finally looking at the right camera. You can tell I haven't done one of these for a little... You can tell it's been like a week since my last video. We can chat in the crafting ones, that's true, that's true. We can always chat is good. Anyway, I should really go, sorry. But yeah, thank you everybody for joining me. It's been a great evening and a great end to the day. I hope you have a fantastic rest of your week, whatever you're up to. And yes, I will see you very soon. Thank you, cheers, bye.